Welcome back to Big D Energy here on a Wednesday. My name is Neal Ruhl. Rolling with me, as always, the squad is in the house. Joique Bell to my right, Darren McCarty to my left. Fish is in the bowl. Art is in the producer's booth as well. Flint's own Arturo. I think that's how we're rolling with from now on. I'm going all in with Arturo.
I like it.
Arturo sounds a lot better, doesn't it, D-Mac?
Exactly, but can we officially? Because he said he's flunked Spanish twice.
Yeah, I think that's all the more reason why we can.
All right.
Yeah.
You know, I thought being on a show with D-Mac and Joique was bad enough, but Neal just adds that fuel to the fire. I did fail Spanish.
What are you talking about?
Well,
I'm your
Neal,
biggest advocate, man.
Yeah, that's what they all say.
Neal, you got, listen, because DeAndre thought you were going to be, he's going to work in, he was going to be like, these athletes are a bunch of arses, and, I'll deal with them. But me and Neal, we'll get this rapport. Suck it, Art. This is this is a centerman. This is like Drape, centerman of the grind line. He'll hit you in a second if it's not working.
Yeah, absolutely. But we are happy to have you wherever you're watching around the world on the YouTube channel, certainly on the app as well. And if you haven't downloaded the app, do so. Woodward Sports app in the App Store, the Google Play Store, wherever you get your apps from. Get it.
Type in WSN Live, and they'll pop right up.
Yeah, absolutely. Woodward Sports, WSN Live, however you do it. Make sure that you do. But, Miggy Watch continued last night down at Comerica Park, and people left disappointed for a couple of reasons. Certainly Miggy did not hit the home run, was walked twice as well on 8 straight pitches, back-to-back at-bats, and the fans, they were not happy. And look, you can tell. I mean, you can tell that the fans are, I don't want to say growing impatient, but everyone's squeezing it a little bit tighter. I think Miggy is as well. He's got 1 hit since he got his 499th home run. And Joique, look, I know, you've been around big moments on a field and stuff like that. It's on everybody's mind, isn't it? If you're a player, if you're a Detroit Tiger, and you know this moment's happening, it's on your mind, isn't it?
You're thinking about it. It's a lot of pressure on him.
No doubt.
A lot of pressure. And what was that? How many home runs has he had at home? What, 4?
4,
yeah.
The whole year? And so he's feeling the pressure, but at the same time, pressure does only 2 things. Make diamonds or bust pipes.
Right.
And so I'll be at the next home game.
Oh, so you're going to take care of it then?
Oh, yeah. You know what? Because I haven't been to one yet. Not a home game, at least. And so now I'm going to go there, and it's going to be some of that
Big D energy.
It's going to be that big D energy be in the building. And so he's going to, the energy is going to be around the stadium. It's going to be electrifying, and it's going to happen.
Well, here's the thing, right? He walked twice yesterday. He's not really getting pitched to, and I think a lot of times to set it's easier on the road because of the expectations. But he's nearing the end of his career. This is important. He wants to do it in front of these fans, and you see that he's going out there. But watching some of the game, he hit one the other night down that would have been just went foul. So. It's just one of these things. I think it's more to the pitching. We almost had a no-hitter thrown against us.
Right, on Sunday.
On Sunday. So I don't think it's as much as he's pressing because he's still walking. And I know you said he has had 1 hit, but it'll come. I mean, that's the whole thing. How many games to the end of the year? Like I'm saying, it's going to happen. So I think just because you want it to happen right away when it's up against records, you go out. But like Joique said, BDE in the house, probably happen tonight.
So if it does, everyone give Joique Bell the credit. I think that'll go in the Hall of Fame. They'll say Miguel Cabrera hit his 500th home run. There'll be a little parentheses in there, and it'll say Joique Bell of Big D Energy made it happen.
They need me there. I mean, I need my name. I need to be remembered for being a part of this.
Absolutely.
The work that I put in.
No, but I think there is something to that though. And Along Thice on our YouTube, and if you want to jump in on the show, get your thoughts known. Certainly, the YouTube channel is a great avenue for that. Along Thice says Gordie Howe had trouble passing Rocket Richard with the 545 goals most all time. He said he was feeling the pressure. He eventually put it home and passed the Rocket. But there is something to that, man. And again, Joique, you talked about it, just 4 home runs at home. It's not like he's smashing the ball out of the yard at home. It's a tough park to hit home runs in, ... he wants to show out for the fans. I think we know that. He wants to.
You know, and I think it's also for him too. He wants to share this moment with the city that gave him an opportunity to come in, and he's played here longer here than any other team in his career. So for him to come here and get the opportunity to break this record here at home, it's a feeling and it's an experience and the time to be able to spend with the people that's been supporting him throughout the majority of his career.
And make no mistake, too.
This special.
And this is something that I talked about before. He's the greatest Detroit Tiger of all time. I mean, that run that he had, winning Triple Crowns, the most feared right-handed hitter of our generation, he's the greatest Tiger of all time in my mind. So, I mean, this will be the something, too, that I think with this town, when he does this, that'll put the stamp on it and drive that home with a lot of people. But I know he wants to do it for everybody. You sense the fans getting frustrated a little bit as well. I mean, D-Mac, you would have think you were playing on the road with the way the boos came down when he walked back-to-back times on 8 pitches. And I don't think it was a situation where the Angels were, quote-unquote, pitching around him or, you know, it was just one of those situations where the game was tied. It was a close game. You don't want to serve one up, obviously, in that situation. So, you know, I don't think they were doing anything on purpose there, but there is a lot of pressure in that building, make no mistake.
Well, there is, you know, and obviously, too, is that, you have to get a pitch to hit a home run. So, I mean, like, that's the one thing. But you could definitely, whether you're at the game or watching on TV, hear the frustration. That's because everybody, like Joique said, wants to be a part for all they've, you know, we laughed about it when Joique said it, but think about all the investment and hours of baseball or times to the park everybody has had. We all individually have our own personal connection with Miguel Cabrera because of his greatness and his tenure, and it's just we want him to do it here in front of us. That's that, and it's just that frustration because we're disappointed. It's that disappointing frustration.
Yeah, absolutely. But unfortunately, that was not the only headline that came out of the Tigers game yesterday. For those of you that were watching on TV, I was like everybody else. I was sitting at home watching the game, getting ready to do the show today. Jack Morris was in the news as well, and certainly Art. I know that you have the video, and for those of you that haven't seen it, we'll play it for you right now. He's in a bit of hot water right now for some comments he made about Shohei Ohtani last night. And Art, you can roll the film on that.
Now what do you do with Shohei Ohtani?
Be very, very careful.
You walk him.
And so there, I mean, and I've heard this explained a lot of ways by people, and this has been a hot topic of debate on social media. Was it a mocking Asian accent? Some people thought it was an older TV show. I think we can all agree on this, and certainly I have some thoughts. D-Mac, you have some thoughts. Joique, you have some very strong thoughts on this. I think we can all agree that it is unfortunate that the situation came to this. Now, later, Jack Morris apologized in the broadcast, and we'll play that too.
Now what do you do with Shohei Ohtani?
Be very, very careful. Well, folks, Shohei Ohtani has come to the plate, and it's been brought to my attention, and I sincerely apologize if I offended anybody, especially anybody in the Asian community, for what I said about pitching and being careful to Shohei Ohtani. I did not intend for any offensive thing, and I apologize if I did. Certainly respect and have the utmost respect for this guy, and don't blame a pitcher for walking.
And so that, unfortunately, was the big headline that came out of the game last night. The Tigers lost a game that was tied going into the ninth inning. The Angels busted it open. But Joique, you know, you had some very strong thoughts on this, and it's going back and forth. And what I've noticed, just from what I've seen, there's a very split camp in this. Imagine that. We're divided. People are divided. Imagine that. Yeah. But Joique, I mean, we'll give you the floor. Get your thoughts on it.
I mean, if we put things into perspective, with the temperature of the country right now, with the things that's been going on with the hate crimes against people of color, against the Asian community, this right here is going to be heightened. It's going to be magnified because it can be taken negative, right? But, you know, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, you know, people make mistakes. He made a mistake. He apologized for it. But do I think that was so offensive he needs to be fired. No, I don't think he needs to be fired, but I just think he needs to be educated on what's going on here, what's going on now in this time. And I think this is one of the things where, just pulling him to the side, having a conversation. I know you brought up something that he said something back in the 80s to a news reporter.
Right.
And so I asked, did he have a track record of doing this? If that was the case, then yes. But if the last thing that came up about him being offensive or saying something offensive was, almost 40 years ago, I'm not gonna. I mean, at what point in time do you expunge something from a guy's character? I know in the legal system sometimes you'll have things that sits on your record for 7 years, or you'll have something on your credit report for 7 years and then it goes away or something. But like at what point in time do you say, okay, he's learned from that, okay, he made another mistake and this is not like him, all right, let's move forward? Because the Bible says it's best. Let the person who sinned throw the first stone. Cast the first stone. You've never done anything wrong and you're perfect, then go ahead, be the judge. But I'm not going to judge him off of that. Because when I first heard it, until I saw who was at the plate, I thought it was an old TV. I thought it was Elmer Fudd. Be very, very quiet, something, and that's the type of voice he had. And then when you put things into perspective, who was up there, then it makes sense. Like, okay, you can't do that, especially right now, right? Because I don't think he's canceled. Like, no, he's not canceled. Bring him to, discipline him, educate him, and then because you fire him, what is he gonna learn from that? I got fired for this, but I felt it was stupid. But if you educate him, he understands now that he might not make that mistake in the future, and then also educate people under him who might look up to him, or these are the things you can't do. So that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, and we're going to continue this discussion. We'll take our first break of the show. When we come back, we'll get D-Mac's thoughts, certainly get to your thoughts. Yeah. A lot of that on the social media as well. And it's a camp divided. We'll discuss it further when we come back.
After I tell you about Northwestern Tech.
Absolutely.
Leaving a hot, cold topic, going into Northwestern Tech. Start a new career in the industry that is always essential, the heating and cooling industry. To learn more today, go to northwesterntech.edu. Joique Bell, Neal Ruhl, D-Mac, and this is Big D Energy.
Do you know why realtors love using Hall Financial as a lender? Because of our commitment to speed and service. We have nearly 4,000 five-star reviews already. Call today, 248-308-5000, or go to callhallfirst.com.
Back at it here, Big D Energy on the Woodward Sports Network. My name is Neal Ruhl. He's Joique Bell. D-Mac, Darren McCarty in the house as well. But we're talking about this Jack Morris situation that certainly was a hot-button topic on social media. And everybody seems to be split about it. Now, we heard what Joique had to say and what his thoughts were. And just to kind of sum it up, Joique's of the opinion he wants the suspension, some education, and then kind of move forward from there. But D-Mac, I mean, you and I were talking about this before the show. I thought you brought up some interesting points as well. I don't know what the exact right answer is, but you had some pretty interesting takes on this that made me think a little bit.
Well, forget about, let's take the incident, because it's insensitive or misinterpreted, or just bad timing or whatever because taking the temperature. But let's explain the why. Or what I said is, what is the proper? Was it something that is not repairable? But let's not just say, okay, are we canceling for this or are we doing this? Let's educate. Let's get to the why of it and explain, what is the thing that offended some people. The problem I have is when he said it has come to my attention, right? So instead of understanding, oh man, I messed up, when something comes out of my mouth that it's insensitive, I don't mean it right away. I want to get back on it because that's not me. I was trying to make a joke, or I was trying to do something like that. That's what it is. And the fact that people were offended, well, people get offended all the time. But let's break it down and use Jack Morris, who's been around and is sort of, like you said, the female reporter back in the 80s in the free. So But let's educate. So take him aside. I think it's one of these things where you take it off and you go, well, because maybe it's not understanding. Because I look at it like, dude, that's just a bad joke. That's more something that in a comfort zone, like Art said, between Joique and I doing his Joique Bell impersonation or Shaq. No, he's trying to. That's funny. We should hear impersonations all the time. That it's not like it is. That was more locker room, comfort zone, like. Thomas Holmstrom used to, when he'd get mad, he'd be speaking half English and half Swedish, and I'd look over all the time and go, Nick, can you translate for us? And with this Swinglish stuff, like where that was in the comfort zone. This in front of everybody, and whether you were offended or not, that's you. So in this country, how do we move forward, right? So let's educate, and then if Jack is a perfect one, being let's call it like it is. He's an older white guy, sort of the cowboy mentality, but let him his education and bring him back on and maybe talk about it. And like Joyce said, educated, because if we're just canceling people and there's no rehabilitation,
if nothing comes from it,
right? Exactly. So to Joyce's point. The people that look up to him or don't understand it, or the people who are going, well, why are you talking about this? This is no big deal. Like, say, well, it is a big deal to some people, so let's talk about it and find out. You want to learn the why. Why is it a big deal?
But
right?
see, my only problem with the DMAC is this here, and David Schultz on the YouTube thread right now says, how Jack talked was commonplace on TV comedy shows in the 70s and 80s. Okay, cool. That's not the way it is now.
That's what I'm saying.
A lot of things were commonplace before. Women couldn't vote before, and that was commonplace. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we throughout the history of our country, we had some things that were commonplace that were pretty vile and disgusting things.
So is it?
That's the facts, man. Like you can be upset at that, but that stuff did happen, and we're trying to go the other way.
Facts, right? Then why don't give him the credit to something where he may not understand because of being brought up, then he may not understand, right, what he said wrong because culturally growing up, whatever, like this is programmed, but it's 2021 now. So instead of just explain the why and let him understand that it's a new day, and you have to be more, there was no social media back in the day. Right? You know how many people would have saw that if you were just watching the broadcast or whatever, or getting around, or it gets in print and you see it in Sports Illustrated.
Let me give you a perfect example. And you guys have heard the saying, that guy went off the reservation. Right? Yeah. You guys heard that before. Right. Like, I heard that growing up. I never knew what that meant, right? I didn't find out like a few months ago, like that's offensive
to Native Americans because of...
Yeah, because
it was like they go off on a binge and
right. And so I didn't understand that. I didn't understand that, but somebody educated me on that. But I never knew that.
Right.
I just thought it meant what it meant, and I didn't know it even related to off the reservation
Native Americans.
Right. Yeah. And so it's things like that where we have to educate people. I have to educate some people just on like African American culture.
Absolutely.
And I'm still learning my culture. I'm still learning things as I go through life. But how can I sit here and judge them off something like that when there's so much other things in the world that can be taken way.
Where was first thing that I try to do is where were the pure intentions? And was the pure intentions to assault or no? The pure intentions was try to make a joke, and it was a really, really bad, insensitive one that I don't think he understood that people would take it because they're always looking to take it sensitively. So that's to your point, Neal. It's not 1985. It's 2021. So
but
but
even in the apology, he said it was brought to his attention, and he let people know that it was not meant as that. I have nothing but the utmost respect to this guy as a pitcher. I mean, as a batter, and so I was letting that pitcher know they better be careful with this guy because I respect him as a hitter.
Right.
And so that's what he meant. I don't think he had any ill intent or any ill will against the Asian community when he said it. But for the people that are offended, you have to respect them too.
Yes.
So I'm not saying what he did was right or wrong and forgive him, because you can never. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. People are entitled to their own feelings, and it's not me to sit here in this chair and tell you how you should feel. You feel how you need to feel. You give us that information, and then we take with it, and then we either change the way we do things in order for your feelings, or we don't. But if I don't know, I don't know. So educate me. Educate me, and then we'll go from there.
And that cuts both ways, Joique.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it's one of those things. Life's hard for a lot of people, right? I mean, and certain things have happened to people that have shaped how they believe and their experiences and everything like that. That's why, for me, I'm not gonna tell you how to feel. I'm not gonna sit here and pound the desk and say this is what should happen, because I don't know. I don't have those answers. I'm not paid to have those answers. Art, what do you got?
Two things. For one, it's not just a white person saying. There's some people in the comments that are offended that it's a white person being attacked for it. Stephen A. Smith was attacked for it a month ago, basically. The other thing is have we asked Ohtani how he feels about it? And Jenna brought up that point. Have we asked him how he feels about it? Because all I see is a whole bunch of other people being offended, where the person who should be offended, we haven't asked him how he feels. Like, obviously, there's a language barrier, but that's the good thing.
He's got a translator.
Right, he has a translator. Like,
but understand this.
Understand
this. You said ask Ohtani, but understand this is a culture. So you need to ask the Asian culture.
That's true, too. Yes.
So... Right, so I mean, he represents the whole culture.
I know what you're. No. He doesn't. But to Art's point or Jenna's point, when you ask the person that it happened to, it might. If he's offended, well then, okay, maybe then I'll go. Okay, wait, I gotta look into it more, because that's his. If he's not, or he says that was a bad joke. You know what I'm saying? Like, it comes from him. But yes, you're right. Everybody's entitled to feel the way that they feel.
Right. And that goes both ways.
Right.
The people that are offended, the people that if the people that are not offended, the people that think cancel culture's at work.
I think the best thing.
Why can't we use this as a learning experience? Because
DMAC, that takes thought. That takes comprehension.
I'm gonna say
that takes consideration.
Right here. They need to take Jack Morris, and let them have a sit down with them, 1-on-1, with this translator, and let him kind of educate him on why that could be offensive. Let him educate him on why, And so I think that'd be a good way to kind of initiate his education on.
But I think what DMAC is saying, though, that's part of my concern with it, because what do we do? Like, what's the playbook, right? The whole and maybe it's a social media thing, but the playbook is what we do is we run and we say, but what about this incident? What about that incident? We're not talking about those incidents, right? We're talking about this, because this is what happened last night. And I think DMAC, I was leaning towards, and look, I'm in this world. Like, this is what I do for a living. This is how I feed my family, is broadcasting, doing play-by-play for games and stuff like that. And I told DMAC, I like to think that down the road, I'll never be in this situation, because I would never say something like that. But when we have that microphone and it's live television, man, you're one word away. One word away from it being all over, the whole thing, everything you work for. You're one word away from it being all over.
People are looking. Listen, people are at home looking to be offended.
That call television stations.
They are looking for someone to cancel. They are going around and looking, searching. They're searching. People have full-time jobs.
You get a cancel. You get a cancel.
Everybody is getting canceled. In a minute, who we gonna cancel? Art?
Well, I wanted to bring up something that...
Well, Art and been canceled.
Well, yeah, I could be canceled at any time. Here's my question, and correct my ignorance, but there are African Americans out there that do not have a problem with a white person saying the N-word. Will I ever say it? No. But if we're looking at canceling based on culture, or canceling based on one person's interpretation of what is right and what is wrong, where is the limit at? Do I think that white people should say the N-word? Absolutely not. But for one person to be offended and the other person isn't offended, it seems like it's a never-ending cycle.
It's once again, Art, particular people are going to be offended, some people are not. It's going to be up to that particular person to decide if they're offended or not. Who are we to tell a person how they should feel? You're going to feel the way you want to feel, all right? Right? And you're going to let us know how you feel, and then we're going to take that information and we're going to do what we want with it, all right? And so I think what we'll do for a break,
Well, when we come back, Joique, the Detroit Lions made a move yesterday, and you played with this guy, a longtime Detroit Lion veteran, was released by the Lions. I want to get into that.
I never thought it was going to happen.
You thought he was going to play till he was 70, right?
Forever.
That taxes and Don Mulbach.
You can't get rid of this guy.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get Joique's thoughts when we come back. I like what I saw from Dan Campbell and the Lions. We'll discuss when we come back. This is Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network.
Tony is a third-generation logger that has a simple, practical approach to life and work. That's why his Coast DX342 knife is perfect for him. The stainless steel blade is rust-resistant and made for all-weather use. And the double roll-lock safety ensures that it will never inadvertently close when he doesn't want it to. That's why Coast is trusted tough.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. My name is Neal Ruhl. He is Joique Bell. D-Mac, Darren McCarty in the house as well. Fish is in the bowl. Flint Town Arturo is in the booth as well.
Artemis.
810 Arturo.
You from Bucktown? Bucktown?
No.
Hey, what's the area code on your cell phone number?
It is 810.
You know it is.
Bucktown.
The 810 made him.
Yeah, you know what though? My best friend is from Bucktown. He actually he loves my best friend.
Yeah.
Right?
From Beecher?
From Beecher.
We're gonna have to change this. We're gonna have to change this to the Miller Road Sports Network.
Hey, how do you like
117.
I know.
Joique,
Shout out
my boy Aaron, he's from Beecher.
Who?
My boy Aaron.
Aaron? That's my boy Aaron. His name is Aaron.
Is it too? Well, not right. Mine, the one who's with me all the time. He's from Beecher.
He's from Beecher?
LaPorte, yeah.
His name Aaron?
Yeah, but he's white.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
So
I figured that.
So I got my
We
my
both
best
got
friend name
Aaron
is Aaron.
from Beecher.
He's black. He's black.
You're Don Art.
Yeah.
I'm shout out
to Zeke Gundry and everyone.
So is that
in
where you
Beecher.
get your girls from the streets of Beecher and take them back to the streets of Holly?
The girls in Beecher are great, and I wish them nothing but success and love.
There you have it.
It's cancel culture. I got to be PC. I love everyone. So.
Well, the Detroit Lions were in the news yesterday. Don Mulbach, the long snapper, was let go by the Detroit Lions, and they put out a tweet yesterday, and just numbers that I hadn't even realized. I mean, second in franchise history in seasons played, games played, and
second in NFL history of a long snapper.
Absolutely. I mean, just some incredible numbers. A 3-time Pro Bowler as well. Probably my favorite stat about him, 2,347 kicks by the Detroit Lions in his time. One of those were blocked. I mean, that is an absolutely incredible number. And to put that in perspective, during that time in the NFL, 434 kicks were blocked. And the Lions only had one block. So certainly hats off to Don Mulbach for a great career, and he is one of the all-time greats. But Joique, when I saw this move by the Lions, to me, I really had to give a lot of credit to Dan Campbell, to Brad Holmes, because Joique, damn it, this was the kind of thing. And Dan Campbell said, he qualified it. He said, I hate this. I hate that this had to happen, but it was time. These are the types of moves that we haven't seen the Detroit Lions make. At least during my fandom time, during my lifetime, this was uncomfortable, this was unpleasant, but they said it was time, and they made the judgment, and they did it.
They did.
And I know you're caught in the middle there because you played with them. You know how great he was and everything like that.
Literally the last standing player from my era. If you look on my IG, I posted a picture of Mulbach. Literally the last standing player from my time with the Lions. He is now gone. A true OG. Good luck, Mule. Definitely was the OG in the locker. He was the OG when I was there. I remember we'll have conversations, and we'll even have snapping competitions, right? Because
everyone on the squad thinks they can long snap. Right?
Everyone think they can long snap, right? And so he would give me tips on how to long snap. When I first got there, in the rule of thumb is the more you can do, right? The more you can do, the longer you stick around the NFL. And so we'll have our times where we'll line up 10 yards from one another, and we'll even people don't know this about me. Mule has a cannon for an arm. Wow. I mean, he has a cannon. When I say a cannon, I mean if Stafford's throwing at 75, Mule might be throwing at 70.
Wow.
Down the field. People don't understand how good his arm is. And so we'll sit there and we'll have
don't tell him that, Joint. They'll be like, why do we put Mulbach in a few times?
he doesn't move like a quarterback. But shout out to Mule, man. And just a great guy to have in the locker room, full of wisdom, full of knowledge. I know they don't have as many meetings as the rest of the team, so it'll be funny to walk in after a meeting and see the guys sitting down playing euchre or playing tunk or playing whatever game they play, poker, whatever, in the locker room. And so it was always good to see Mule. He kept the energy. He kept the energy in the locker room alive, kept it positive, and just a great guy to have on the team. Man, shout out to Mule, man. Everything that you're going to get, you're definitely a Hall of Fame, and here in Detroit, and hopefully, good luck to you with whatever you decide to do next. I know you're going to be successful in whatever you decide to do.
The only thing that sucks is his 40th birthday.
Yeah, and Jenna Newman brought that up on the YouTube thread and said it sucks that it happened on his 40th birthday. But to me, I'm going to sound cold.
I'm not going to say that. But I'm happy. I'm not happy that they let him go because it was time. But I'm happy on his birthday he was able to start a new chapter.
Yeah, that's true too.
You can always look at with Mule, he's a half full type of guy. The glass is half full type of guy. And so he gets to go out there. I don't know if he's going to continue to play, if he's going to retire, but he's definitely a guy who, even if he's out there a certain amount of snaps, he's great to have in the locker room with the young guys.
And that's great, and certainly a tremendous career, and I'm glad to see him get his due. But the fact, Jenna, that it did happen on his 40th birthday, I think it reinforces it to me, though. Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell, this regime is not in your feelings. It's business time out here, and that Joy, that gives me energy, man. Yeah. And D-Mac, you were a pro athlete. The day comes for everyone. Joy, the day comes for you. That day is coming for everyone. Aaron Rodgers, everybody across the board.
Father Time always wins.
It's undefeated, man. Time is the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world.
There's only a few people I know that's beating Father Time right now.
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady's beating him. LeBron James beating him.
Arturo from Flint Town, he's beating him. Yeah,
that's right.
There's a few players out there. Carmelo Anthony.
Which we'll discuss later. That's a great segue. We'll talk about Carmelo. He's in the news a little bit. But D-Mac,
you like that?
Yeah.
Look how
you like that, don't you? Yeah. But D-Mac, I mean, you brought that up too. I mean, you had that conversation. It happened to you.
That's the whole thing, right? Exactly. It happened to me during the lockout, and not sort of the retirement, leaving and going after when I got bought out after the salary cap came in. That was harder. Saying goodbye, the body was beat down. But again, like you said, if the Don Mulbach is a glass half full, he's got a lot of opportunities and a positive guy. So I like the way Joique spun it, and it's the fact that it starts a new chapter. Because here's the thing, it wasn't this. They didn't get the Marc-Andre Fleury Vegas to Chicago treatment, find out on the internet. They had a conversation, and I'm sure it was great. And the one thing about Don Mulbach, always what the team first, right? Doing that role. So I'm sure him and Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes had a great conversation. And who knows? Maybe you'll see him in the organization doing something. If that's what he wants or if he's continue playing. But what a great career. And yes, 2,387 snaps, 1 block. That's crazy.
No, it is. And Harrison Metzler on the YouTube thread right now says, yeah, the old Ford was about hanging out with your friends. The new Ford wants to produce a winner. But, I mean, Joique, do you feel that, though? And you and I have talked a lot about this Lions organization, where they stand right now. Is this a turning point for this organization? Because maybe I'm overselling it. I don't know. But I honestly do believe that this signifies there's a new sheriff in town. It's a new day.
Yeah, you know what? But the thing is, everything you're saying is true, but I don't think they're coming in with that mentality as far as how they're conducting.
No, they're
business.
not. They're not looking to reaper you.
Yeah. But what they're coming in, I'm pretty sure when they brought Mule in, they sat down in the office,
did it the right way.
And did it the right way. Let them know, listen, Mule, it's been a great run. I think we're going to take a different direction. We respect everything you've done for this franchise. We want to make sure we do this the right way. I'm pretty sure this is how this conversation went, because just my conversations with the front office, with Brad Holmes and and the people there at that organization, this is how I feel they would have conducted business with them. And the funny thing is, before they made this cut, I was literally talking to one of the players now about Mulbach and talking about how he's the last OG standing. All right, and then just a couple days after that conversation, they let him go. They released him. And I'm like, wow, no, there's no more players from that era when I was there.
You starting to feel old, Joique?
You know what?
For the first time in your life, you starting to feel old?
It's not that I feel old. I just feel like everything I knew there, that was like one of the last pieces that was still there.
So you feel like officially washed away now. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know if that's the right term or not, but you're starting to feel that way. Like it has moved on.
It has moved on from that era where we were making some noise, right? And the only bright spots that we have there, that was there when I was there, I think, is a couple of the coaches coached me when I played on different teams. And so that still makes me kind of feel like I still have that attachment too.
There's some connection there.
Yeah, there's still a connection there. And so
getting old sucks, Joique, trust me.
Man.
Just
that's not me. I mean, I have no gray hairs in this beard. I don't dye it, so.
Not yet, Joique. Not yet.
No, it's gonna be a while.
That's a bold statement. No, but again, though, shout out to Don Mulbach. He had a great career, but I'm of that opinion. I like the move as far as what it signifies and the way that they did it. And look, man, it's about business. It's about business, about making this team better.
I want to revert back real quick. You want me to be old so bad. Neal want me to be old so bad. I'm not. That's you. I'm not old. Trust me, everything worked. Everything.
Wait, everything, Joique?
Big D energy. We gotta go to break. Woodward Sports.
Welcome to the Call Sam Chopper Shop, where you can win a custom-built chopper while helping our veterans at the same time.
Watch as the Bad Pig Custom team turns this bike into a one-of-a-kind classic chopper.
And when it's finished, we'll be donating the bike to Volunteers of America, Michigan to raffle off in support of our vets.
A great cause to give back to those who've given so much.
Watch for Call Sam Chopper Shop episodes on our social media channels and get your raffle ticket today at callsam.com/Chopper Shop.
I'm going to say that.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neal Ruhl, Joique Bell, D-Mac, Darren McCarty with you today. Appreciate all your interactions, everybody watching on the YouTube channel. If you haven't yet, make sure you download that Woodward Sports app in the App Store on your iPhone, on the Google Play Store for your Android tablets. Any way you want to do it, get it in. We're happy to have you along for the ride. Great interaction with you guys as always. But did want to change it up, and because this popped up on the social media world yesterday. Carmelo Anthony was on the All the Smoke podcast, which is a very, very popular podcast with Matt Barnes, Steven Jackson, former NBA players, and Melo was on there, and they got to talking. That is the one thing I do like about the podcast era is these guys get on there, and it's not like they're doing radio interviews on station radio anymore. They get on and they cut loose, man. Like they have some things to say. But Carmelo Anthony talked about the days he thought he was going to be a Detroit Piston all the way up to and including draft day. Here's a cut from Art.
Detroit skipped over you, took Darko. Do you ever think, because that was a good Detroit team, obviously they went on and won championships. Do you ever think of that, like, damn,
changed the course of my career, man.
Right?
Insert him, take away Tayshaun.
It was, I'm gonna tell you what, man, like to this day, I still think about that.
Really?
Yeah, hell yeah. Cause I'm like, they promised me. You know what I'm saying? Yo, we taking you. We taking you.
Did they?
I'm talking all the way up to draft day. You understand? We taking you. So in my mind, I'm like, I'm going to Detroit. I get Chauncey there.
Rip.
John, all these guys is there. She came in the middle of the year. I mean, she got traded.
Oh, that's right.
And that's what really put them over the top. But they was like, yo, you gonna share time with Tayshaun? I'm like, cool. Like, I ain't, I'm gonna come and do my thing, but I don't know how long I'm gonna share time with him. You know what I'm saying? I'm just come in and do my thing. And then they won it. And I'm like, oh, my luck. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm there, I think they win another one.
I think so too.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't jump out there so we 3-peat football. I think we go back to back if I'm there.
And that was Carmelo Anthony, and he talked about the fact that the Pistons didn't take him, and quote unquote the Pistons promised to take him. D-Mac, what about that? When he says that statement, he says if I'm there, not only do they win 1, they win 2. I'm skeptical of that, but I'm curious to get your thoughts on that, knowing the type of player Carmelo Anthony was.
You know, well, I look at it like with what we had. So if you had Carmelo instead of Darko, and Carmelo in his first few years, would it have made a difference? Yes. But who knows? Chemistry-wise, everything else. But would they even won the first one? You know, like that's the whole thing. This is a total Maz thing. This is a Tom Maz way, live in the past, live in the future. By the way, you can check them out on the bottom line, 2 to 4 here every day. Braylon Edwards, Ryan Armani, and you'll hear Maz chirping in the background with stuff like this. What's that camera, Art? No, I mean, which camera is that?
Yeah, look,
it's like twice.
I know.
Are you trying to see my tattoo better?
Yeah, that's what it is. I want to see your tattoo.
Thank you. We'll see it, D-Mac.
Yeah.
But you know, so I think it's because everything's played out, and Carmelo hasn't got one, and so that'll always wear on it. Obviously, too, I'd like to know the conversation from Joe Dumars at this point. Did we really prompt because they're opt to change their mind? But I don't know. You know, it's one of those things that we can bring this up about a lot of other players.
Well, D-Mac, when you talk about winning titles, though, there's moments. And there's singular moments that dictate those championships, as you know. That maybe that happened in the regular season, maybe that happened in the playoffs. That Tayshaun block was the moment in 2000. Carmelo doesn't make that block. And I'm telling you guys, if they draft Carmelo, Tayshaun's not on the floor, especially in crunch time. He doesn't get that block. Because remember, Indiana won game 1. Indiana won a game at the Palace.
You know, we talk about the block, but listen. You have Carmelo, we're speaking of hypotheticals here.
Absolutely, but
you might not even be in that position till you need that block. You might be up far ahead. You might not even need that block. You might be up by 12 already. So that block is significant.
It'd be interesting, though. Like, obviously, all us Detroit fans, if we went back, we would have.
Because I like Tayshaun. He was like our X factor. Whenever he had a great game, whenever he played well, we always had a better chance of winning. He was our X factor. That's who Tayshaun Prince was to us. Carmelo was going to be one of our top players, period. And so if you had to start a team with a guy, are you going to draft Tayshaun Prince or are you going to draft Carmelo Anthony?
But the makeup of that team is where that comes into play, because Carmelo's not coming in here as a rookie with Chauncey. And then later on, obviously, in that season, too, do they add Rasheed? Because they traded for Rasheed that year. Do they add Rasheed if they have Carmelo?
Everything, like Joique said, everything changes. You know, like also, too, is when you think, well, they wouldn't have made the block. Yeah, but they probably would have been up. They might have not needed to because they're up 12. So it's just, I think the most interesting point, not only is that you brought up the fact of these podcasts where you get the dirt, but the fact that, Carmelo really wanted to. He liked Detroit. To be here.
He really wanted to be in Detroit.
Yeah.
He was telling his homeboys, hey, we in Detroit now. Had this whole hood. We to Detroit. Unlike Jalen Green.
No. Exactly, right?
You know,
so
I sent Art a video real quick. Not a video. It's just like a snippet of when he made that comment. Kids, like the high school kids around the Detroit area, flooded his social media.
Jalen Green's social media?
Yeah, they did.
Was it like this? Ryan's reaction: Jalen Green wears Uggs because he saw Tom Brady wear them.
No, so something like that. So it's a little bit more. So if you zoom in on those comments right there, you can't see it, but we ain't want you either, brother. Your buff's been revoked, bruh. I hope you get robbed every time you come to Detroit. You'll soft N-word blurt. And then you barbecue chicken when you come to the D, my boy. You barbecue. And so they just flooded his. Like, you don't talk about a city.
But what kind of? And then you talk about Detroit at that. Everybody, look at the city step up. Look at.
When he comes to the city, he really got to pay a tax. He got to find Trick, and he got to pay Trick off a tax, and Trick got to put the word out, don't touch him, or from like he can't come to the city. Like you don't talk out of all cities to talk about. Like talk about another city. I'm not gonna say another city, but like talk about Grosse Pointe or something. Don't talk about Detroit. Like I don't understand what goes through people's heads, but I guess it is what it is. And people don't care.
Well,
I guess freedom of speech don't mean freedom of consequences. It doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that. So
accountability.
And so,
Chad, but not that Chad says Mazaway hates Jalen Green jokes. I guess he had a moratorium on him. That's all right. Hey, we love him.
And he did a whole interview. He did a whole interview and said, "I want to live in Detroit."
The kid said the shit.
Listen, he did a whole interview and said he wanted to live here in Detroit. Like he said that in the whole interview. Like, and then you go, and then now you don't. What? What are you doing? What are we doing here? What are we doing?
Just shows you the mentality, this self-centered mentality versus team mentality. Every time anything with Jalen Green opens up, I'm so grateful we got Cade Cunningham and we got Troy Weaver and we got the guys making the calls here. Because again, Neal, when's the last time, other than your Detroit, city football team, do we have down here we like the coach, the organizer, we try, it's saying, no, our guys will do it. Our guys will do it. We're getting that more and more here in all our sports.
Yeah, no question. And Dad with Tourette says there's zero argument against adding a future first ballot Hall of Famer, in my opinion. You can't argue adding him makes the Pistons better. And
I think it changes the dynamic of the team.
Absolutely.
But does it change it to a point to where we're not a championship team anymore? I can't say that.
I think it does, and we'll never know, right? Like again, both things can be true. Yeah. Going back to the Jack Morris discussion,
the Neal Ruhl rule.
Both things can be true because
be true.
Because again, who's going to check Kobe in the finals? Takes Tayshaun Prince, lock Kobe. Yeah, it's closest Kobe's ever been to being locked up was Tayshaun in those finals. Kobe struggled in those finals to score. The 5-game sweep. You remember it.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear what you're saying.
Kobe was locked down, bro. Or was locked down.
We always say that, too. Yeah, the 5-game sweep. Just because to let everybody know, the refs screw us in every sport.
Yeah, the 5. But it was a 5-game sweep.
I know, but it just cracks
me
up.
We had a team full of great, because out of all those players, who would you say is a no-brainer Hall of Famer?
On that Pistons team?
Yeah.
I don't know that there is one. Ben.
Ben.
Ben. Other than I'm talking about the other one. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because if they were going to get in, they probably would be talked about getting in right. I mean, is Chauncey, is Rip? They were good players.
Yeah.
Certainly good players.
Yeah.
And they probably sacrificed a lot as far as that goes in individual accolades. They probably certainly sacrificed a lot with that. I mean, other than Ben, no. Is Rasheed going to go in the Hall of Fame?
I don't know.
Yeah.
He
was a savage.
Yeah.
Well, he guaranteed that victory in that game too, where Tayshaun got the ball.
I don't know if people understand it. You ever heard what the term "bar don't lie"?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's Detroit.
Yeah.
That's Detroit. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Absolutely.
How much you want to bet? How much you want to bet that they go into the Hall of Fame or they don't? What's the odds on that?
Well, if you did want to bet that,
what could I bet that?
If you wanted to bet that, I go to the studio sponsor, MyBookie, because you know what? The winning season returns at MyBookie.ag, and it's time for you, if you're not already, to get in the action. First-time players can get started by doubling your first deposit, giving you the firepower to add excitement to the games you love. Yeah, college football odds boosts, NFL lock of the season, and over 500,000 in contest prizes live on site to make this winning season your best ever with MyBookie. Historic this year, guys. They gave us another week, 18-week schedule offering more action than ever before. You need a sportsbook casino that's reliable, and you won't find a better one to play than MyBookie. I know you're going to bet this season, so do the smart thing. Sign up with MyBookie.ag and use our promo code Woodward and get your first ever deposit match dollar for dollar. That means 100% matching. That's extra money credited to your account instantly just for using promo code Woodward and making your first deposit. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.com. That's Neal Ruhl. That's Joique Bell. I'm Darren McCarty, and you are watching Big D Energy.
Hi, I'm David Hall from Hall Financial. With historically low interest rates and 5-star service, you could pay your mortgage off faster without increasing your monthly payment. Get started now at 248-308-5000 or chat with us online. Call hallfirst.com.
Back at it here, Big D Energy, Neal Ruhl, Joique Bell, Darren McCarty. Happy to have you along. Make sure you download that Woodward Sports app in the App Store, in the Google Play Store. Search it out, download it. You can carry the show around with you wherever you go. Big-time presence on YouTube as well. Certainly grateful for all the comments, all the interactions. I'm not Tom Mazaway, so I love interactions like this from Chad, but not that Chad. Jalen Green brings a 12-pack of Natty Light to a party, then drinks all the good whiskey. I love that
Arturo!
I love
That's
that
That's Arturo right there.
Yeah, so we're going to keep, every day for the rest of this month, we're going to come up with something funny that someone said about Jalen Green.
Yeah, I mean, keep those rolling, never stop. In honor of Tom Mazaway, we're gonna keep it popping there. But speaking of Tom Mazaway, we talked about it earlier. The bottom line, we're Braylon Edwards, Ryan Armani, Tom Mazaway, 2-4 right here on the Woodward Sports Network. And it took less than a week before, and I was listening, bumping around town yesterday after the show, just like all of you. I got it on the app, and I'm listening in the car, driving around, and I heard Braylon. They talked about the preseason top 25 in college football. There's no Michigan in there. There's no Michigan State in there, and justifiably so, based upon the results and what we've seen. Yeah, why would they be in there? But Braylon used a term that I really don't like, and I especially don't like in college sports, because you don't rebuild in college sports. If you have a good coach, if you have good recruiters, your Alabama, your Clemson, your Ohio States, it's never a rebuild. It is. It's a reload. But Braylon Edwards said this yesterday.
Well, real quick, I need to know, are we doing some gang shit right now? Is it us against that? I need to know. If Braylon catches me in the hallway, I'm small. I'll get my ass whooped easily.
Oh my God, Art. Are you freaking kidding me?
I'm joking.
Look at Tom just saying, Mazaway just walked in with the shades on looking for you.
With the buffs?
With the shades on.
Oh, shit, man.
He got his buffs. Walk in the door.
Remote.
Fish, we need Maz in here if he's got buffs on with his glasses. Did he
just walked in? There he is right here.
Yeah.
He's coming in.
He's coming in on his head. Yeah.
Maz can whoop me.
But Braylon really got me going with something he said about Michigan. And Arturo of Flint Town's own, has it ready to go. Cue what Braylon Edwards said about Michigan football.
This year, as always, man, you got Alabama. You got Alabama number 1. You got Oklahoma number 2. Alabama, you look at the cultures. If we're looking at the board right now, Ryan, a lot of teams always talk about rebuilding. We use that at Michigan. We were using that for the Tigers. We were using that for the rebuilding. This team is rebuilding. The reason why these teams are always on this board, the reason why these guys are the top 5, they don't rebuild, they reload. There's a difference. If you look at Alabama's going to be number 1 or number 2 every year. I think Alabama just tied Ohio State for top preseason number 1s all the time. I think they're 10. I think the last 13 years, I put some stats down. The last 13 Alabama, what did they do? Seasons in a row, they finished ranked in the top 5 when the season started, or before the season started. Last 13 years.
You know how hard that is?
It's 6 national championships. You know how hard that is. People act like that's normal now. You look at what Dabo Swinney has done there. It's funny that Oklahoma's number 2 now, right? We were talking before the show. Oklahoma just can never seem to get over the hump. No matter how good the team is, no matter if they have the Heisman Trophy. I mean, you look at Sam Bradford, Heisman Trophy winner. Jason White, Heisman Trophy winner. Kyler Murray, Baker Mayfield. They just cannot seem to get over that hump. They lose to LSU in 2003. They lose to, USC.
Spencer Rattler is going to lose them a football game.
So that was Braylon Edwards on the bottom line yesterday. And Joique, I know, and look, certainly respectful of Braylon's resume. And he played in the league, and he was a hero at Michigan. I understand all that. Yeah. But to say Michigan is in a rebuild in college football, man, and he listed all those teams. He listed the Oklahomas and the Alabamas and the Clemsons and the Ohio States. You're not rebuilding. You recruit your talent. Your head coach, they're responsible for that talent. It's almost like it's been normalized now with Michigan They're not in the preseason top 25. Have we wrapped our heads around that, Joique? I mean, do we understand that right now? Where this program is, a rebuild? No, I'm not a Michigan fan. But if I were a Michigan fan, I'm not standing for that, man. Like, they're not ranked in the preseason top 25. D-Mac,
especially especially with Jim Harbaugh at the helm for the past 7 years.
With the bill of goods you were sold.
Right, so if you're supposed to be the leaders and the best and one of these teams in his conversation, then and I know you use the professional teams rebuild.
It's not, and I wouldn't call it a rebuild because need to
start a culture.
We had some of the highest, so we've had one of the highest ranked recruiting classes the past 3 out of 4 years or something like that. And so I'm not gonna say we're a rebuild. I like what he said about reloading. When you have seniors or you have juniors leaving early. You have these guys leave.
You slide in the next NFL guy.
You reload in. Like,
what's Michigan's identity?
You talk about you said what?
What's Michigan's identity?
No, I would say mediocrity now.
Well, that's what I said. But they need to develop their identity first. Like what I'm saying, like to yesterday, whereas we heard it when Harbaugh came in, who's got it better than us? All this hype. Now maybe they're going back to just quiet. Going to come out, but we need to establish what is their culture. It always was smash mouth or defense, and the guys are gone. We don't know, Neal. Mediocrity, the others, all the stuff going around the university.
Losing to Ohio
outside.
State. That is their identity. I mean, guys, make no mistake. That's their identity.
Yeah.
Ask a national college football fan. I have friends. When you work in college sports, you get friends, and they go off to other places. I have friends in the SEC. Working for SEC schools right now. They laugh. Make no mistake, guys. They laugh at Michigan and the state that Michigan's in right now. They do.
No, and why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they? And you said it. Ohio State, first of all, forget winning the Big Ten. You know what I'm saying? You got to beat Ohio State because then everything takes care of itself. But you got to show out because, like you said, the mediocrity, it's just not. They have to establish an identity first before you can even build anything.
You got to get over the hump. And it's crazy that you have a coach like Nick Saban to come in and win so many championships and make it and normalize winning championships and make it look so easy to a point to where when they win, they're like, okay, we expect them to win.
But that's what I was told, though, Joique, and I was working at a radio station in town with D-Mac. I did those shows. I took those calls where that's what I was told. And I did like Braylon's point where it's gotten so crazy that it's normal. What Alabama done has been normalized. Yeah. But you know what else has been normalized? What Michigan's doing right now. I really feel like it's been normalized
for years.
But why? Why do the fans allow that? Why does the culture allow that? Why?
Because that's our identity. That's our identity. What I'm saying, when you look at it, that's been our identity to be all talk. All right. We haven't put up. We haven't won anything here. I don't know how long we had the biggest I remember going to Braylon, I believe it might have been his last year, and saw the biggest comeback in school history when they played MSU and they came back and won the 3 overtimes. Like, I was there for that game.
Yeah, Braylon balled out.
Braylon balled out. And so I remember, growing up, I was a Michigan football fan. And I would enjoy watching college football on Saturday more than I enjoy watching the NFL games on Sunday, just because of the atmosphere around the area. And Michigan always had the big hoopla of we're the big house. We're the big house.
You can call it what it is. They had the entitlement, because that's what it seems like now.
That's probably now, but then they were still doing work then. They just wasn't winning championships. Now, was that a talent? Are we not getting the talent? Are we not getting talent here? And we talked about this before. Would people rather come play for Michigan, or would they rather go play for Alabama? Would they rather go play for LSU, Florida?
Well, Joique, when you're a high school player that's getting ready to decide where you want to go to college, it's to the point now with Ohio State, Clemson, and Alabama. Because what are you concerned about? If you're a big-time high school player, you want to get to the league.
I'm a college player, right? I'm a college player.
Your goal is to
get to the next level. And I have an offer from Florida. I have an offer from UofM. I have an offer from Alabama, LSU, and let's say Clemson. All 5 of these teams want me. Which team am I going to go to?
You're going to go to Bama or you're going to go to Clemson because you want to go to the league.
I'm gonna go to the school that I have an opportunity to play and start and have a success from the get-go. And that was my decision and why I ended up going to Wayne State, because this was a school that was giving me the best offer. Right? You'll have an opportunity to play as a freshman. Right? And so me coming in, I'm looking at that. I'm understanding that, and I want to move forward with the program because not only were they going to give me an opportunity to play, but they also were more concerned about me getting an education than just playing football. And so that was one of the major reasons on why my mother said, you're going to Wayne State. You're going to Wayne. And how I end up getting here is a whole nother story in itself. And it's pretty funny. And I tell everybody it's the best decision I never made. And so when we get back, we can get into it, and I can tell you the story. It was kind of funny.
Yeah, I do want to hear that story when we get back. And we're talking about this whole Michigan situation.
I'm looking to hire a graduate of Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Back out of here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Joique Bell, D-Mac, Darren McCarty in the house, taking all your interactions, certainly on the YouTube channel. You guys are repping out there, and it's great, guys. We really do appreciate it. I'll continue to love, I'll always love the Jalen Green thing. I love this one right here. Detroit batter 313. Jalen Green orders a water cup, then tries to sneak Sprite. Probably doesn't even get. He probably doesn't even. Ryan piled on, says he probably doesn't even get Sprite. He's disrespectful and gets like orange, so it's obviously not water. Joique, you ever hit that? You hit the water cup with the Sprite? We've all done it at some point, right? Yeah. He's low key nodding.
And the thing is, you ask for kind of a water cup, and you walk over there, and you're like, again, like,
and you may have all the intention of getting water.
Right? You might have all the attention, but like sometimes you get that temptation.
Yeah.
In your hand, you got an opportunity. You'll go there, and you get ready to, put your, you get ready to put your water in.
You're still determined to get water.
Or you about to put water in, and you look over, and they taking another order, so you just slide it over a little bit, put a little Sprite in it, just spread it over.
Joique especially does that if it's the Burger King that he hates. You know that he's taking everything from the Burger King. Where's that location again?
So what?
Come on. The joke that you had with the drive-thru lady at Burger King. Come on, I have to refresh your memory at Burger King. You don't remember?
Oh, you talking about Burger King?
Yeah.
Oh, my God, bro. That was I don't want to get back into that.
Okay.
I don't want to get back to it.
You could have just said that was funny. Just never mind. You killed the entire joke.
No, you know what? My headphone came out.
No, don't even get me started.
I didn't hear what you said.
No, it's because you had your AirPods in and you're taking a damn phone call during the show. That's why your headphones are all screwed up.
Wait.
Fish, is that facts or is that cap?
That's cap.
I mean, it's facts if we're being honest.
Thank you.
It's not facts because I'm listening on the show too.
Okay, I had to. If we want to go there, I had to mute your mic about 30 minutes ago because someone was in the background talking during someone's read.
Look at Joique's face. Joique's like, not me.
Well, I clearly have proof that I had to mute my mic.
Mute your mic?
Yeah.
Your mic. I had to mute your mic. I mean, I see
because I was talking to somebody over here.
No, you were stop playing. You're playing around. You're playing a joke right now.
What are you talking about?
You literally were like, okay. Neal's trying to make a great point about sports.
Sports.
I started doing a read while I was talking to my driver. Okay.
No, but Joique, you
were. Why is my mic even on while he's doing a read?
Well, why is it not on?
Because he's doing a read.
Okay, and you're supposed to be quiet and listen to the read.
Oh, my bad. I'm in class now. I'm in class. My bad. I'm sorry, Neal.
Well, it's common sense 101. Ain't that
it's
common,
sense
apparently?
to hit mute on both our mics when he's doing a read. We need feedback.
Okay, and when he ends the read,
when he has to read, you need to hit mute on mics.
I'm from several countries. When he talks,
I'm from several countries.
At the end of the,
I have 20 passports. I've been around the world, but the one place I've never been was New Zealand. I have to get there.
I will get there. By the way, fun fact, they're on lockdown right now, so they're not doing
So you're not going to New Zealand.
I don't know why that's a fun fact. What's so fun about
in New Zealand? They
So
shut
I'm
the
a
whole
little
country
sad
down.
right now.
one case and shut the whole
Yeah,
country
I
down.
have tears in my eyes
All
right now.
Anyways, back on track.
No, but Joy,
day.
you had a story you were going to tell because we've been discussing the Braylon Edwards comments yesterday, and it's not okay that Michigan's in a rebuild in my mind. It's not, man, because this wasn't what we were sold. I took those phone calls, man. That's not what I was told.
Okay, so this is what I feel. This is what I think. I think they need to do a better job recruiting. All right, they need to do a better job recruiting.
Reloading.
Reloading, whatever you want to call it. And they need to start looking into talent, because if you look at the running backs, one of the reasons that I didn't go to Michigan was because, first of all, they wanted to play me at safety. They had Michael Hart at running back. They had Kevin Grady, which at the time I think he was top 5 in the country at running back. They had Antonio Bass, which I believe he was ranked the number 5 athlete in the whole country.
I forgot about Kevin Grady. He came in with all the hoopla.
All the hoopla.
West side of the state, right?
Yeah. And you had another guy who was a running back out of Saginaw. So I knew if I went to Michigan, I wouldn't have an opportunity to play running back. And then they also told me that they wanted me to come there as safety. All right. And then MSU recruited me, University of Toledo, Central State, Northwood, Grand Valley. But Wayne State was the school that recruited me the hardest. I actually met them at the UofM football camp. So as we go through the process, it's 2 days after signing day. Wayne State calls my mom. My mom wakes me up about 5 in the morning and said, "Joy, I need you to sign this sheet of paper. I want to put it in your file. I need to put this in your file." So I said, "Okay, Mom." So I signed the paper. She puts it in my file. I said, "Can I go back to sleep?" I go back to sleep. She wakes me up. I get ready for school. I'm in class, and I get a phone call. My phone is going off. Not on the air, but while I was in class. And I had to raise my hand. And I asked the teacher if I can take the call because it was my mom. Right, I was in school. And so he lets me take the phone call in the hallway. So I go in the hallway. I said, "Mom, I'm in class." And I was in French. Jean m'appelle Joy, comment allez-vous? Comment tu t'appelles?
Oui.
Yeah. And so I say, "Yes, Mom, what's going on? Everything's okay?" She said, "Yeah, everything's good, Joy. But how do you feel about Wayne State?" I said, "Wayne State, it's a cool school. I want to weigh out my options. I'm waiting for MSU to get back with me. I want to see." Joy, it's 2 days after signing day. They're not calling. I said, "But you can't make me sign my letter of intent, man. Like, you can't make me sign it. Like, I want to make sure I make the right decision. This is the biggest decision of my life." She said, "But Joique, you're wasting time. You're gonna lose your scholarship." "I'm not gonna lose it, Mom. You know what? I like Wayne State. You're going to Wayne State." I said, "I'm not signing anything." "No, you signed it this morning. I'm faxing it off now."
She ran game on you, huh?
And the whole time I'm thinking she's at home. She's downstairs in the AD's office, and I found that out like a couple years ago that she was actually at the school when she called me.
Wow.
And so, boom, faxed it off to Wayne State, and that's how I ended up going to Wayne State. And I told everybody that's the best decision I never made.
Right. And ended up in the league.
Yeah.
So, 7 years in the league, right?
Did State ever get back to you? Did State ever get back to you? Then, or once you sign the letter, then it's done?
Yeah. When she sent it off, I was just like, I guess I'm going to Wayne State. Mom, what the water boy mom said, mama knows best. Mama knows.
Mama says.
Mama knows. So I ended up going to Wayne State. My mom liked Wayne State because they were more concerned about me getting an education than playing football. And then fast forward, I ended up meeting with one of the coaches and one of the recruits from UofM, and I met him last summer, and we talked about how he told UofM about me as a running back, and they just said, "Oh no, we're set at running back," and they didn't want to look at me. And he said it was probably his fault because part of my career would have been different if he would have fought for me a little bit harder to get me to UofM. And I said, "You know what? You did exactly what you're supposed to do, and my path was the path I took." So
and it worked out, and you certainly can't question. But that's something that's common, though, Joique, and I'll share a story, too, with you. So, Al Luganbill used to coach the arena football team in town, the Detroit Fury, when they played in the Arena League here. His son, Tom Luganbill, later was a coach who's now with ESPN, does a lot of the college work and all that stuff. Al Luganbill was a head coach at San Diego State, and he talked to me about recruiting Marshall Falk, who was a Louisiana kid, was going to go to LSU, but they wanted him to play cornerback. Marshall Faulk. And so when Luganville was recruiting him, he said, if you come to San Diego State, you can play any position you want to play. And he's like, well, I want to be a running back. He goes, you'll start in day one. And boom, he went to San Diego State over LSU because of exactly what you talked about. This is very common. I think things worked out for Marshall Faulk with that decision he made too.
For sure. It worked. And and the funny thing is, even though Michigan told me I was a safety, I knew I was a running back. I knew it. And this is the times you have to bet on yourself, right?
Right.
And so I betted on myself, and any school I went to, I knew it was going to be running back. I knew it. The recruiting process can be a little tricky. It can be a little confusing. It can be manipulative. It can be all these different things, right? But as long as you give me an opportunity to get out there on the field, I'll write my own path. And that's kind of my thought process going through that process.
No, I think that's the whole process, betting on yourself, or, the one thing is you're going to have to put the work into whatever you want, so find what your passion is, and if you're going to do it, that's the one thing. I think that brings up the conversation that we've talked about a lot with the name, image, likeness. I for some reason, I think the benefit, too, is that these kids that will bet on themselves, it might make it a little bit easier, right? So joint the fact that I would love to have seen that even you go to Wayne State, bet on yourself, now name and image likeness makes it a little bit more comfortable for you, then you see what else it can do. But the process of that is going out there and doing the work and not playing behind somebody, but being able to go out and establish and find out. But you knew what you were, and that's huge. Because it's the same thing with me, right? If I wanted to make it to the league, I knew that I like to score goals, but I knew that I was better at fighting and playing physical and stuff like that, so it didn't matter.
All right.
Absolutely. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about guys, I'm starting to get worried about this whole COVID scenario. Stadiums are announcing protocols and exactly the things they want to do, and I really am getting concerned about that. We'll discuss right after this from Joique Bell.
Levels grand opening. Levels provisioning grand opening car giveaway, a live broadcast all day at the open event brought to you by Woodward Sports. Levels can be found in the center line at 23968 Sherwood Avenue in Center Line, Michigan. It'll be this Friday on the 20th. Make sure you're there. Again, the address is 23968 Sherwood Avenue, Center Line, Michigan. We'll be there on site to help promote the grand opening and their new delivery service. Go to enjoylevels.com for more information. There will be free food trucks, tons of giveaways, and your chance to win my dream car, a new Challenger. The Morning Woodward Show, Big D Energy, and the Bottom Line will all be there broadcasting live. Come through and get you some of that Grizzly gas, because Art had some Grizzly gas last night, and it knocked you on your back. You got some good rest?
I feel great today. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Welcome to the Call Sam Chopper Shop, where you can win a custom-built chopper while helping our veterans at the same time.
Watch as the Bad Pig Custom Team turns this bike into a one-of-a-kind classic chopper.
And when it's finished, we'll be donating the bike to Volunteers of America, Michigan to raffle off in support of our vets.
A great cause to give back to those who've given so much.
Watch for Call Sam Chopper Shop episodes on our social media channels and get your raffle ticket today at callsam.com/Chopper Shop.
Back at it here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. My name is Neal Ruhl. He's Joique Bell. D-Mac and Darren McCarty in the house as well. Get you caught up on our latest Jalen Green thread. Jalen Green closes his eyes when eating chocolate. Jalen Green microwaves. Low key, that's one you got to think about first. Those are the best ones. Those are the best ones where you got to stop and think about it for a second. Jalen Green microwaves his Frosties. That's a good one as well. So
it said Jalen Green ignores the smoke detector low battery chirp.
Oh my God, that's vile. There is nothing in the world that gets me more than that chirp. I mean, it sets me off. God, I get pissed when that happens.
What's that?
That chirp from the smoke detector?
It woke me up at 2 in the morning one time, and that's the day I didn't want to get up at 2 in the morning.
It never happens at like 6 o'clock.
Nope, always 2 in the morning.
It's always 2 in the morning. It's always 3 in the morning. God, that pisses
And there was
me
no
off.
Olympics on either. Disappointment.
Oh man, that's a hard hit for Fish over there in the bowl.
It was also like a Wednesday or Tuesday. There's nothing going on.
Jalen Green raises his hand in Zoom meetings.
That is a good one. So you guys can keep that coming. This isn't Tom Mazaway, and this isn't the bottom line. We encourage.
Speaking of raising hands, so before the show started.
Oh God.
What's going on, Art?
Nothing. I know what you're gonna bring up. Just nothing.
So let's talk about it. So before the show gets started today, we're getting ready to prep for the show, and during the show, earlier when this Woodward Sports Network initially started, I would make Art raise his hand just as a joke.
As a child.
As a joke, just like how I have to raise my hand to mute my mic. So but anyway, so. We're getting ready for the show, and he's in the booth, like talking to us back and forth. But before he speaks, he was raising his hand before the show. Like you don't have to. That's only for the show, not before the show. You know that, right?
Well, I know that. Yeah, I know that. It's just PTSD. It triggers me. So yeah. Great joke, Joique. Great joke.
It wasn't a joke. It was a fact.
Yes, I know. Yeah. It was super funny. There we go.
More in the comments. Low key, Neal Ruhl seems like he has deep-seated anger issues. No, I mean that's not the case.
They're not deep-seated.
Yeah, they're very overt. Yeah, they're very overt. Like I'll tell you what they are. No, I mean that's just one of those, and everyone's got those sounds, right? Like my wife is.
But they do say that if you get triggered by like barely noticeable noises or something that annoys you, that is a trait of a serial killer. It really is. Yeah, like getting triggered by little things, like a little noise or like something. It is a
So you're classifying me as a serial killer? What's going on?
This is like, wait, what?
Yeah.
So Art, does that mean you're a serial killer when Chad walks in and you hear him like walking behind you? Like, does that classify you as a serial killer?
So SoFi Stadium, man. Let's talk about the food.
Well, we are going to have a food discussion a little bit, but I did want to touch on the whole COVID situation that's going on. And for those of you that haven't seen it or haven't heard it, a lot of stadiums are announcing what their COVID protocols are going to be in Toronto. Proof of vaccination for all fans, staff, and the facilities. That's a Maple Leafs. That's a Raptors. We're seeing this throughout America too. And guys, I'm telling you, and I'm not getting into the vaccine discussion. I'm not doing that. I'm just telling you that I'm concerned about the fall, and I'm concerned about sports because, I think what we learned last year, and when you're in this business, guys, like you understand this, the fans are the most critical component to everything because last year doing college basketball, doing Detroit City FC matches for television and radio and all that stuff. And speaking of Cade Cunningham, we played at Oklahoma State. There was like 1,500 fans in the stands or something like that. It sucked, man. And watching the games in the bubble and watching these football games on TV, it just sucked, man. And Joique, I'm really worried about this.
It's a spectator sport.
No question.
There's a spectator sports, and what's the sport without the spectators? Like even the players will tell you it's totally different. Like actually, some players say that being able to play in that bubble was easier than actually going around because they can just go play a game and then go back to the training room, do their post practice or post game, and just head back to the hotel, and that's all they have to do for a period of time. And they felt like it was just strictly basketball, and it was nothing else. But for the sake of the game, not now, but if they continue to lose spectators, then what does that do to what would that do to the sport? Like, what would that do to it? Would they lose money?
No question. I think we saw that. No question. I think we saw that.
But the thing is, they're still making money, even though they don't have spectators in the crowd.
Those TV deals,
right? Yeah, TV deals are they're the future, man.
Right. So how long is that TV deal? Like, how long is that TV deal? Are people's,
the one with Amazon is for a number of years. I know that, and they obviously have the rights to. I think it's the Thursday night football games, if I'm not mistaken. But they signed. I want to say it was a 10-year deal.
Yeah, it was big dollars. It was long term.
And they just signed it like 6 months ago.
Right, but D-Mac, you're a big sports guy. I mean, you and I are kind of similar in that. I don't watch a ton of shows. I don't watch a ton of movies. I watch sports. I'll watch the West Coast. If all I have is a West Coast MLS game, then that's what I'll watch. I'll watch a West Coast baseball. But I know you're in agreement with it. I mean, it sucks, man. It sucks when the fans aren't there.
It sucks because unfortunately it's inevitable. I believe.
You think this is the way it's going to go?
Because we don't have the ability to do what New Zealand does as an island. 1 case, shut it down, and you know, like it's just for whatever reason. I think, you know, the biggest thing that we talked about. Right, is when people become more comfortable. But if the cases are coming up, then, and you look at it the way that it starts, the stadiums are announcing this is where it starts. Now, I like this better than just shutting it down and stopping like we did the first time. So let's move it back, but I wouldn't be surprised. And that's why I think the executives and the, you know, social media and all this technology, they figured that out during the last time. So that's why you saw these contracts, TV contracts, all this other things aligning, Amazon, online, YouTube, this sort of stuff, Hulu, stuff like that. So, but to be honest with you, it's, right now I'm 50-50.
Yeah,
it's like it's 50-50, and I was like, and that's, if this is a glass, it's risen to 50. Right?
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? It hasn't started. It started, once we got back. So I'm more, you and I are lockstep on this.
Yeah, and the thing that really concerns me, too, about all these protocols, I think we've proven as a society that we don't like obstacles, and we take the low-hanging fruit often. I think everybody that's watching right now or listening, everybody in the studio can agree that if there's a lot of obstacles in the way, we're not going to do it. And again, I'm not making this about the vaccine or anything like that. I'm just saying, when there are obstacles, not as many people are going to do it. That's just a statement of fact.
I think the other thing is, too, is like we got to see a look at the world in a different view. Like even from the MMA side, like watching the fights on the TV from the EpEcenter where there was like 20 people there, and that's it, and half of them were fighters. It was a great experience, but at the same time, when they brought the crowds back, it was like, wow, there's a big difference. You know, obviously, doing what you need to do to prevent getting COVID is important, but I think that we've gotten too far along now. I think that our world has changed forever, and there will always be another variant. There will always be another case of I remember growing up always worried about Ebola and H1N1 and the bird flu, and finally something happened to where it
hit
affected.
home.
It's hit everybody now. I also believe, though, in personal choice and being a libertarian. So it's kind of like a weird, that's my personal opinion. So.
But Joique, I mean, the fans, and look, some athletes don't mesh well with the fans. Certainly there are athletes out there that don't. The fans are the straw that stirs this drink, man. Like the fans are the one that make all this go. I'm not even talking about just financially, just the environment. And I thought everything would be okay when the fans weren't in the environment, because we were desperate, right? We were desperate to watch sports. We were desperate to get that feeling of normalcy. But the fans, man, they make all this go.
They make it all go. And then it's funny where, when I watch the games, let's say like even the NBA finals, and they had like the fake fans in the crowd with like it's like the TVs they have in there, and like you can watch it from home.
Cardboard cutouts,
yeah, cardboard cutouts, or they had people who can like tune in from their home, and like they have TVs there.
Yeah,
the wrestling video.
Yeah, so you sitting there, you watching that, you like, and in my head I'm thinking, are they watching this in real time? Is there a delay?
Right.
But what was great about the wrestling, and Darren, correct me if I'm wrong, but you could buy a ticket and you are a part of that virtual event, and that's awesome.
I know for a fact one of our listeners, Tammy, she's done that. She was on one of the WWEs, and she was explaining that. They'll tell you, make noise here like this, and you have to be on. But there's strict guidelines that you got to follow. But
yeah,
it was fun.
Who wants to follow? Like, you have to ask permission to go get food out the kitchen. Like, you can't leave that camera. So make sure you have all your snacks right there, right now, because you can't get up and go to the bathroom. You can't do anything because we need you cheering at this particular point.
Right. I mean, but those are strings attached. So certainly we'll see how it plays out. I hope the fans stay involved. The same guy that said I have anger issues on YouTube says, have you guys seen all the Jalen Green jokes? Of course we like the low-hanging fruit. Well, yeah,
come on, man. Get a life. If you don't like it, don't watch. Like, we're having fun. I've watched this guy comment over and over again. Shut up. Like, your name is Thunder. I'm not even going to finish it. You hide behind a keyboard. Fuck off.
Yeah, well,
Jesus.
We're
having fun.
Well,
shut up.
and before we go to break, Jalen Green uses the original Nordic-Track ski machine still.
Can you say that in Spanish next time? That would be so cool.
Arturo?
We're having a defana. No, that was Italian. I'm fucking stupid. Just forget it.
All right, good talk, everyone. We'll go to break. We'll come back. There's a food thing that's going around social media that I have to touch on.
Yeah, we got to touch.
I think because I need to step in here because I think I need to do the right thing for society. We'll discuss coming up next, right here. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network.
Hi, I'm David Hall from All Financial. With historically low interest rates and 5-star service, you could pay your mortgage off faster without increasing your monthly payment. Get started now at 248-308-5000 or chat with us online. Call hallfirst.com.
Big D Energy right here, Woodward Sports Network. Make sure you download that app if you haven't yet in the App Store, in the Google Play Store. If you're Team Android, Team iPhone, doesn't matter. We got you covered, so make sure you download that app. Have the show with you wherever you go. D-Mac, and of course, Joique Bell fishes in the bowl. Arturo, Flint's own, in the production booth also. And guys, I did want to step out of the sports thing for a minute because we're getting to that time of season. And D-Mac, you've seen it before, and Joique, I'll introduce you to it when the time is right. You guys know, there's a lot of you out there that are watching right now, my feelings about candy corn. And we'll get into that as Halloween comes along. It's one of the most vile things on the planet. Yeah, I mean, it's bad. There's something I saw, and look, guys, this is a controversial topic. It always is when you talk about pizza and toppings that come on pizza. And if you want to put pineapple on your pizza, I'm cool with it. I know a lot of people get upset about it. I'm cool with that.
I'll dig down.
Yeah, jalapeno and pineapple.
Pineapple.
With some chicken on there. All right, I'll ride with you on that. I will. I'll do it. But I will not.
Are you a pineapple on pizza type of guy?
Not like I don't. That's not something I'm going to all the time. But if I'm at a party and they have,
are you putting pineapples on your pizza, D-Man?
Joy,
I will eat a piece. I'm not opposed to eating a piece of pizza with a pineapple on it.
I'm not either. I'm not
going to order it.
I'm just saying because I like pineapples on my pizza.
Like a Hawaiian. But Hawaiian pizza's ham and pineapple.
Yeah.
I don't put ham on them, but the barbecue sauce on them, like the little Hawaiian style barbecue chicken, delicious.
Yeah, I'll take some peppers and stuff like that, some jalapeno peppers,
some green peppers.
But one thing, Joique, that I bet you will never put on your pizza, that I will never put on your pizza, and I'm curious to get your guys' take. Maybe I'm wrong. There's a Skittles pizza going around on social media.
Is that from the game? Is that at the stadium?
No. This is just something.
No, that's from somebody who's clearly on meth.
They should have that. They should have that at games in honor of Beast Mode.
No,
Skittles pizza in Seattle.
No, but Joique, you understand the point of having something available at a game is to sell it and to profit from it.
Yeah.
And if you had something like that, Carrie Steele, by the way, is great on Twitter to follow.
Have you tried it? Have you tried it though?
No, and I'm never gonna. Never, ever,
Do you like
ever.
Skittles to begin with?
Yeah. Do you like Skittles?
Yeah, they're okay.
Freeze-dried Skittles are the best.
They're good. Skittles are good. I'll eat them. You eating them on a pizza, Darren?
No.
Why not? They're great.
Would you try one slice if you didn't pay for it? Would you try a slice? You would try a slice. You were hungry, nothing else was there.
No, I don't even have to be hungry. I just, I'd have to. Yeah, I mean, if I was in the mood.
I want to try it. I would try it.
You would try it?
Yeah, absolutely.
You would too?
See, this is
I'd be high.
And that's the difference between a person try something new.
I take a bite. I wouldn't say I would eat the whole thing.
I would have to be on the highest grade marijuana that you have.
Darren McCarty brand.
Yeah, the Darren McCarty brand. Because there's no way. Mixing sweets with meats is disgusting. I'll say it. Pineapple on pizza.
There's no meat on that pizza.
It doesn't matter. It's still like a.
No. It doesn't matter. Then why would you bring it up then? Because there's no meat on that pizza.
Pizza you associate with meat, not with Skittles.
Hey, that's great. Are you sure that?
Skittles has pork in it. You know that?
Skittles has pork in it.
Yeah.
What?
That's the pizza Jalen Green had when he celebrated being chosen second.
I'm joking. I don't know if that's.
I was gonna say, I'm so gullible. I'm like, I gotta check Google.
But Joique, so you
It
can't.
might be in there. Check it.
Joique, you can't put that kind of propaganda out there where you say, I will try the Skittles pizza, because you know what you're doing, Joique?
What?
You're enabling people.
Yes.
And you're going to create. You're going to help create the next abomination where somebody's going to put circus peanuts on a pizza. That's what's going to happen.
Put
next.
M&Ms on a hamburger.
Circus peanuts and ballpark peanuts the same thing.
No, those orange
But I'm saying,
marshmallowy circus
but you got to
peanuts.
think after they cook it, it kind of melts down into the pizza.
That's disgusting.
How you try it?
They do have hamburger pizzas.
Well, hold on. I'm
right
just thinking
hold on,
here,
okay.
Got that.
Hold on.
First of all,
D-Mac, let me say this, D-Mac. Neal, hold up. All right.
Yeah.
You be quiet. You say no one says it.
Oh, my God.
Would you put ketchup on your eggs?
I do put ketchup on my eggs.
Will you put ketchup on your eggs?
No.
Absolutely.
Oh.
No.
But he does.
So do I.
Okay.
No,
but you find that repulsive, though. That's
not
disgusting.
putting candy on a dinner food.
Hey, you put something sweet
I
on
think
eggs.
that if you had to, if you put a hot, like
ketchup
you'd
is
have
that's
to
a
put
stretch. No, not a stretch.
jalapeno, something
But I'm
hot
just
to
saying-
get the sweet, like a sweet and salt. Like there'd have to be that sweet and salty, because I think it would be too, that Skittles. I mean, the more we talk about it, it'd have to be how you do it. Freddie the pizza guy, I'm gonna ask him.
We
what
need
do
to
you think?
have him bring it and have Joique eat it on the show. If he's that about it,
Yeah,
then
if you're about that
I think that
Joique.
it's like one of those things that you ask a real pizza person that this
They're gonna
is
laugh.
like. No, I wouldn't ask a real pizza person. I'd rather try to cook
No,
one myself.
because Freddie runs a pizza business.
A real
and the point
one.
of his business is to make money from selling pizza.
And Freddie's not Willy Wonka.
Yeah. So therefore, he's never going to make a Skittles pizza because
Right.
no one's going to buy this except
Exactly.
Joique.
I didn't say I was gonna buy it. I never said I was gonna buy it. I said I'll try it. So if somebody had like a pizza with, and it's something different, and I like everything. I like Skittles. I like pizza. I never tried them both together before. I'm not saying I'm gonna like it, but I would try it one time.
No, that's
try one time.
that's where I draw the line. And look, on the YouTube thread right now, Juice's Ghost says Peeps. Peeps will be the next thing that they put on a pizza. That's disgusting.
What?
Peeps, those yellow
marshmallow,
those
gross.
yellow
Those
dye
are
based.
gross.
Yeah.
You don't like candy corn?
You don't know what
No.
peeps
I don't
are?
like candy corn. No, I don't like.
Do you
candy
not
corn.
know what peeps are?
I don't like candy corn at all.
Hold
All right,
on.
you like
Do you
candy
not?
corn?
I love candy corn.
You know what? This is. Unfortunately.
I love it.
How am I getting dragged into your corn? He's dragging me in. He couldn't. He wanted Ruhl. Couldn't get. Now he's me. I like candy corn. Do you put hot sauce on your eggs?
Oh, absolutely.
That I'll do. But hey, look, I'll stand up.
I
yes.
like Cholula on my eggs.
Cholula is good,
Ooh.
but just not ketchup, man. I feel like, and salsa's very good. Like
I
because
like
I'm a
hot
big
sauce. I'm not
breakfast
putting hot sauce
burrito
on my-
guy.
I'm not putting hot sauce on my eggs unless I'm eating like a breakfast burrito.
Right. So I'm about that.
Is it because you can't handle hot sauce, so you have
Oh,
to add a
boy.
little bit of bread to it to soften it up? It's okay. You can admit it.
No, I just don't like hot sauce.
Joique, we're
on
all
my
family
eggs.
here. It's okay.
No, we're not family.
Do you not know what peeps are?
Thank you. Fucking, we're coworkers.
We're coworkers that
Yeah,
no.
we don't talk outside of here. Don't call my phone.
I definitely don't
Please.
call your phone.
You just called my phone
When?
last week.
What did we talk about?
You
See,
asked
I
me was
think-
I getting on COD, bro.
I don't recall that ever happening.
I think that I would be more inclined, like for taste wise, is that like Swedish fish would taste. Good. I just don't think that
They're
all
full
the
of liars
flavors
in
of
here.
Skittles.
Do
You
you
have to
not
put a
know what
jalapenos
peeps
in
are,
it or
Joique?
something.
Yeah, I'm just not doing it. What do you got, Fish?
You really don't know what peeps are?
Joique, you don't know what peeps are?
Like, that's a disgrace. Like, you don't have to like them because
a disgrace.
I'm not a big peeps guy, but you have to know what they are. That's like Little Caesars. Everyone knows what Little Caesars is.
Yeah.
No,
Can-
Little
can
Caesars
you-
from Detroit.
It's a casino.
He's
and
got to
it-
know. Do you have the
Huh?
capability
Yeah, but
to throw
you're a
a peep on the
Detroit
screen?
person.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you're
you're
like real quick. I hate
What,
to put you
Little
on the
Caesars?
spot
No,
like that.
peeps.
You
No,
know
but
what
it's
peeps
an-
are.
All right, then,
Let's
no,
pull them up on the screen
like
for
Little
you right now. You know what
Caesars.
peeps are.
Or
They're-
Jets. Everyone knows those are pizza
They're
ones.
real
Everyone
Buddies,
knows.
Domino's, Pizza Hut, Little Caesars, Happy's,
Or
Look,
Hershey's. Everyone knows what Hershey's is.
John's.
Peeps is basically Hershey's
Papa John's.
in terms of like the brand that they have.
Okay, so hang on. So we have two different peeps here, okay? We have...
Well, there's multiple.
Well, yeah, there's a whole bunch of them.
Is
there's
it P.I.P.I.?
No, listen, hang on. There's peeps.
Yeah,
You know
that's the
those.
one.
Now,
Joy.
there's
I know
peeps.
those.
Those
And then
Easter
there's
things.
rest in peace to Lil Peep. So there is Lil Peep. Do you guys know Lil Peep? No? Nobody? No. Jesus, uncultured. Never mind. Just forget it. I was trying to
Those
make
are
a joke, and again,
Easter trees.
the jokes just go over. Lil Peep was an artist, and he died of an overdose, sadly. And so you have Peep, and then you have Lil Peep.
No, we got Art. We just weren't laughing.
I know.
I mean, keep
I was
going.
trying.
I mean, it's not
Someone in the chat laugh, please.
I sensed it was good. Here, you want to laugh? Oh, I got to turn it up. There's your laugh.
Oh my God, we're doomed.
DMAP Zoom says on the YouTube.
Are we laughing at somebody dying? Like,
No, we were laughing because it was.
Why are you laughing at somebody
No,
dying?
okay, we're
Cancel
not.
art.
We are not doing that.
Okay, that's insensitive, Joique, isn't it, by Art?
Yeah, it is.
Just forget
wow.
You gotta educate that man.
Just forget it.
No, but DMAP Zoom says it best. What the hell are people smoking to be coming up with these types of combinations?
Not weed. That's like smoking like meth to come up with Skittles on pizza. I'm sorry. That is not normal.
If I was gonna, I don't know if I can go that hard, but if you made me vote, I would probably vote with Art and say that's a different kind of. No, you want, but it gets it into is that makes what would be a great, because you use chocolate sauce like the bread, or you fry it up like that. You get the chocolate sauce. You can make a sick. There's stuff out there that's good.
Before we go to break,
Snickers pizza.
Before we go to break, there's a very important question. Neal, they want to know, is having Art on the show your version of granting a Make-A-Wish kid's dying request? So,
listen, can I address this?
Thank you.
Everybody, just so you know, the three of us up here at the end of the year get a tax write-up to Make-A-Wish for Art. So that was part of the contract.
Now-
We appreciate that, but just so you guys know, yes, the answer is yes.
DMAC, I was trying to create my social persona that says I'm a giving person,
So bring
and now
this guy.
my true motives are out there. I need the tax break.
Yeah.
I do. I need the tax break. That's what it is.
Arturo, the tax break, Flintstone. There you go. There it is.
Shout out to John, who said that I'm Jalen Green's best friend. We can go to
John
break.
Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably are. You probably are Jalen Green's best friend. We're gonna take a break. When we come back, there's a scary scene in Chicago. It's certainly a scary scene for Oakland pitcher Chris Bassett, and I want to get the guys' takes because I know that they've been around these situations, and you know it's bad when the players stop. And this was a pretty tough video to watch. But with that being said, I do want to know what the psyche is of everybody on the field, on the ice. When we come back, we'll discuss that a little bit later on as well. The NHL going to do the sponsor patches on the jerseys. Jahlani Tavai's on the roster bubble for the Lions. We got a lot to get to as we come down the stretch. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We are recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand. Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech. The hands-on training is fantastic. They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10 and a half months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
a graduate of Northwestern Tech. Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Back at a Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Make sure you download the app on the App Store, the Google Play Store as well. Everyone's engaging on YouTube. We certainly do appreciate you guys doing that as well. Joique Bell, Darren McCarty with us here today, as always, on Big D Energy. And there was a scary, scary scene in Chicago last night. Oakland A's pitcher Chris Bassett took a line drive right to the face on the mound. I know Arturo is working on getting that video up right now, and this was very tough to watch as we see boom right there, and he just goes right down, and 60 feet 6 inches away, even closer after they finish the windup. I mean, he is kind of in that defenseless position that pitchers are for a split second. But I knew that this was bad when I saw it, because you saw everyone just stopped. Like, you look out there on the field, and everybody just stops. And, you guys and DMAC, you had a story about a game that you were playing in, and Joique will touch on it for you as well. But, DMAC, I know for you it was the Chris Pronger situation. And a lot of Detroit fans will remember when Chris Pronger collapsed to the ice, and the ultimate fear was in the air for a couple of minutes with Chris Pronger. But, just what goes through your mind when you see something like that happen?
Well, I think it really, when it's almost like when you're daydreaming or something at a stoplight or stop sign, that like we all have those moments where you're like, oh, and something jars you back and you're like, oh my God, thank God. right? The Chris Pronger slap shot, he blocked the shot, he got hit in the chest, and I think they said his heart stopped, but he collapsed. And at that moment, you're all one family. I mean, it's not about beating them in the game or whatever. When you see somebody that's seriously hurt, because you want to beat your opposition, right? So here it is here back in '98, and he comes out and watch him, and as he goes down, and you think it's blocked, but that something's wrong. So the guys, what I mean is like, what's the truth? To see Holly there and stuff, and then when you know it's immediately when it's bad, that's why those guys are great. And in Detroit, because it's not blocking a shot, but the Yuri Fisher situation on the bench. That's why it's so important that the doctors are a big part. The guys up front of the net, walks out, gets hit right in the chest. And I know it hit him in the heart, and I think it skipped a beat or something like this. But after that, right, Warrior created a heart block for youth and kids so this doesn't happen to anybody else. So great to see that he was able to get up and get off and stuff like that. The more scary one was Yuri Fisher on the bench but the defibrillator brought him back. But again, what comes to your mind right there is like, it's not about hockey, it's about the health of the guy. And do we have an update on the pitcher?
I have not heard what the last of it was. I know that he was obviously taken to the hospital. So
was he carted off or did they walk off?
Yeah, because I didn't see the footage. They didn't have the footage available. I don't
like that
so
stuff, man.
Yeah, no, and I agree with you. But Joique, I mean, in the NFL, certainly, the ultimate gladiator sport that you played. What about that mentality though, Joique? Because you guys go to battle every single play, and that's the mantra, right? Every single play can be your last and all that stuff. When you see something scary, which I'm sure you saw a lot of scary things out there, how do you fire the engines back up and get back into that mode? Does it take a minute? Does it take a quarter? How does it work?
No, I mean, it's sad to say, but in the league we play in the sport that we play in, it's you say your prayer for your teammate, you sit there, you support your teammate, but at the end of the day, you're on the field or you're on a diamond, you're on the court, and you have to continue to play, because the worst thing you can do is go out there and not be ready and lose a game that a person who just sacrificed their body was just carted off or was able to walk off, but he's out for the game. We just lost the game that they gave us a sacrifice or had a sacrifice for. So we're right back into it. One of the nastiest injuries I've seen, I had a teammate who snapped his foot in half on a play, and luckily we were in North Carolina with one of the best foot surgeons in the country on the sideline for the other team, and if they didn't get him to the hospital when they did, he would have lost his foot. And so he had been I guess he had been in his profession for over 20 years. He said that was the worst foot injury he's ever seen. But luckily he was able to save it, and that guy did that in 2014, I believe, and he's still playing till today.
Wow.
He's still playing right now. And so it's just, we ended up losing that game, and I felt bad that we lost that game because we had a player who just sacrificed everything, or it could have been the last game he ever played, and we lost that game. And so you have to be able to come back and snap back quick and be able to keep your mind on the task at hand, because regardless of one person, no one person is bigger than the mission. And so, unless it's life or death, then you get back to the task at hand and you make sure you got to do what you have to do.
Yeah, and there is an update available on Chris Bassett, the Oakland A's pitcher. Jenna brought it to my attention too. He is out of the hospital, a cheek fracture from the line drive, but his vision is unaffected. So it sounds like it's what it looked like. I mean, he took a baseball to the face. There were some broken bones. The bones will heal, and that certainly is very, very good news. But it does, though. It just as a common fan who never, because I've always said this about football players, Joique in particular, is when you walk through that tunnel, that's an alternate reality. The reality that you lived in when you played, that's a reality that I don't think I can relate to, a normal fan can relate to, because the most in-shape athletes in the world are moving at a most insane speed with bad intentions. Let's be real. There's bad intentions out there.
You know, I was telling the viewers back in the day that when I grew up, I was a big college fan. I used to love college football because of the atmosphere with the fans. And I never really watched the NFL. I had favorite players, but I never really had a favorite team. And so once I went to college, that's how I felt. And then once I made it to the NFL, my whole perspective changed because I saw the intensity that I was playing at the NFL versus on the NCAA level. It was night and day, including me even going to the Senior Bowl and playing in the Senior Bowl. The talent that you play with and the speed that you see in the NFL is totally different from the NCAA. But the thing is, any competitor, we're going to adjust. We're going to make those adjustments, and we're going to get acclimated rather quickly. And so when we're coming out that tunnel like you talked about, as soon as we cross that threshold and we come out there into that field, there's no more friends. The guys we talked to before the game, it's none of that. It's none of that. We're going to have sportsmanship, but that's my homeboy, or we're friends, or we train together, that's out the door. That's out the door. Until we go back through that tunnel when the game is over, or until that clock runs off and, you know, we either win or we lose, there's no buddy pals on there. We're not trying to hold a conversation. We're not trying to go get a cup of coffee.
Yeah, I mean, you're not. We're
not giggling on the field like
you're
playing.
You're playing for food, man. You're playing for money. Like you're playing.
Get that, but at the same time, like I get that energy and I understand that, and it's more than a game. It's your livelihood and everything like that.
It is.
But you have to understand that you can, outside of the game, like you can be nice to people. That's all that I'm saying. That's what
outside. That's outside of the game.
Listen, Art. At the end of the day, Jen and Neal, that no one ever wants balls to the face but you. Especially at that speed. Prayers for speed and fully recovers. She didn't actually say that. I put for you in there, but I knew what she meant.
$20 is $20.
$20
right?
is $20. You know it.
Yeah, no, but it is, and I'm glad.
I got these cheeseburgers, man. You know, I got these cheeseburgers. That's art. People part of the coaching.
We'll take our final break of the show. When we come back, Jahlani, Tavai's on the roster bubble. If we have time, I want to get to this NHL story as well. Sponsor patches will be on the jerseys. A lot to get to, not a lot of time to get to it. But before we do,
well, you know what?
D-Mac, what do we got?
This break. We're gonna coast into this break. Pretend I got all my stuff here today and
the
stuff
machete?
for coast exactly. Hey, listen, I left it in the office, Art, because I knew better, right? Because I probably would have thrown it at you today or something. It's something, but you know, coastportland.com, your DIYers, outdoorsmen, everything, lamps, lights. I have a machete, knives. Everybody who has gone to hashtag How We Coast, yes, hashtag me on the Twitter. Anywhere you Woodward Sports Network, hashtag How We Coast, and I will give away a gift certificate, $100 gift certificate on Friday. Go to coastportland.com to find out what it is. Use WSN 20% off, and make sure you tell them Woodward Sports sent you. We are Big D Energy. Don't forget it. We'll be right back.
You know why realtors love using Hall Financial as a lender? Because of our commitment to speed and service. We have nearly 4,000 five-star reviews already. Call today, 248-308-5000, or go to callhallfirst.com.
Final segment of the show here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal Ruhl, Joique Bell, Flint's own Arturo in the production booth. Fish is in the bowl as well. Coming down the stretch, dessert pizza, big topic of discussion on the YouTube chat thread. Where was the other one right here? Chris said Pizza Hut used to make dessert pizzas that were fire. They were. I do remember those. That was back in my sugar days.
Hey, guy, you know what? This is what I loved. You were creating this reaction, and, you know, Ryan, you know what? None for you. We gave you the option, but Ryan doesn't get a piece. And anyways, I'd be willing to throw in some DMAC stuff for if you want to create guys go out there and create some dessert pizzas or show me something like you want that looks good. We'll figure it out. We'll be out and about in public, so that's how we roll here at Woodward Sports Network. So I'm all good. There's a couple good ones on there.
We will be out there in the community as well. Make sure you follow Woodward Sports on Twitter. They'll keep you up to date everywhere that we're going to be out there. So if you want to come out and say hi to some of these events, make sure you do that. I read a story yesterday that really made me think about the Detroit Lions' current situation as far as where they are with their roster, where they are with their talent level. And there were a couple of different media outlets that were talking about Jahlani Tavai is on the roster bubble. And for those that remember, Jahlani Tavai was a second-round pick for the Lions. And we know.
2017? Is that 2017?
17 or 16. Yeah, I can't remember exactly which one, but right around that time frame. But that being said, I think that tells us a lot about why the Lions are in the situation that they're in. I think this is why Brad Holmes is here. I think it sums up the Lions situation perfectly because, Joique, look, you know, blue chip guys like Calvin, and I will say Matt Stafford was a blue chip guy, and he turned out to be a very good NFL quarterback. But through all that, Joique, doesn't that sum this up? Why the Lions are where they are right now? Because if you go back through the lineage of second-round picks, and we did this a couple days ago, you know, the Boss Baileys and, you know, the Teddy Lehmans when he was here, not the New England Teddy Lehman, but the Teddy Lehman that was here. When you go back through the lineage, this is why Brad Holmes is here, right? So we don't want to read these stories about a second-round pick still on the rookie contract being a question mark to make the team.
Yeah, and they did a number, didn't they? Now, old regime did a number. I think he's the last standing guy from the last regime that they brought in.
Is that what they're down to now already?
Yeah, I think he's the last one. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, I think he's the last one from the last regime or from 2017. I think he might be the last one. So
wow.
Yeah, so they're cleaning the house. I mean,
it's the same thing as when you look at the Red Wings
and I was going to ask you because they're in the similar spot.
Yeah.
Well, you're seeing it, and not only because time has passed, but also too, what I like is that just because they were part of the old regime, didn't mean they didn't get a chance. They got a chance, and if he's not good enough, he's not good enough. What everybody says, so we got to move on. And surrender is actually victory when you know that you can't put pieces together, but they're going to use what they want. And again, it goes along to the Mulbach conversation that it tells me that they have a plan in place and they know what they're looking for.
Yeah, and for the Detroit Red Wings, I've talked about this before, and you guys will get to know my opinion on this. I mean, they were really behind the eight ball in some of the contracts. I mean, there are some bad contracts that were on that team. And look, Ken Holland built a dynasty, but I can't take that away. The banners are proof that hang in the arena. Certainly, he was incredible and instrumental in building that Red Wings team, the dynasty that we saw that you played on, D-Mac. But with that being said, in the cap era, there were some bad contracts then. There are still some bad contracts on that team, and we're in different waters right now where you have to be able, as a general manager, both for Brad Holmes and now for Steve Yzerman, you have to navigate and mitigate those contracts. And I would say it's even more of a challenge for Steve Yzerman because you look at a Franz Nielsen contract, for example. I mean, that's what the contract is. I didn't sign it. I go on Spotrac and I look at these numbers, and that just gives you a piece. I mean, we're talking about a guy like that's making $5 or $6 million a year. That's 8% of your cap in the NHL. You can't win like that, D-Mac.
Well, it's trying to figure out a way what you're going to do with it, and again, #IserPlan.
Right.
You know, it's just he knows what he's dealing with. It's not like he's hiding from it or whatever.
Sure.
And he's got a plan for whatever else. And you know, say what you want about Franz Nielsen, he's got a huge impact in that dressing room.
Sure.
As a professional.
And I understand that.
No, and I do too. And so there's something more to Stevie with that, or why he's dealing with that, why he hasn't been bought out, or why you haven't put the money back on the cap. So he's got a plan.
And he does, and I understand that too from that perspective.
But
and if that is the case,
absolutely,
yeah, but it does. It makes it hard for Steve Yzerman. But Joique, I mean, you know, with Jahlani, Tavai, just that whole roster bubble in general, because the NFL, and we're at that time of year right now where you're going to see that with these guys.
Yeah, I got breaking news too.
Sure, what you got?
We've been talking about the Pistons. We've been talking about Carmelo Anthony, how the team would have been if we would have got him. We talked about Rasheed Wallace. We talked about Rip. We talked about Ben. We talked about all these guys. And breaking news, Rasheed Wallace has just accepted a coaching job, assistant coaching job with the University of Memphis.
Oh, with Penny.
With Penny, working out of Penny Hardaway.
And Larry Brown there.
You guys heard it here first.
Larry Brown's there too?
Joique, never mind. I was going to say, it was posted in the group chat at 10:37, and I'd actually like to ask you why.
I told Neal before the show.
Yeah, and Darren did. Why did you leave the WSN group chat? Since we're wrapping up the show, I just have to ask real quick.
Yeah, because, man, y'all was texting on the. Yep, I mean, they was texting each other at
you
12
left at like 1 o'clock in the morning.
I'm like, why are they? I'm like, why?
Yeah, I go to look. I'm like, Joique left the chat.
Joique, hide the alert.
Yeah, hide the
alert on the group
No. You can hide the alert. But in your text messages, I was still having like
the notification. Yeah,
I still had a notification popping up. I had like 100 emails or text messages, and I'm like, why are they texting at 1 in the morning?
You left.
And it's
you
not.
left.
And it's not even. And it's not even. And it's not even about anything.
No, yeah, you're right.
Kids,
you left like Batman though, like in the night. It was like 1 a.m. and I got the notification. I was like, oh, Joique left.
Yeah,
that was smooth.
Like I'm not about to sit here and watch this every. Like I have to go and I have to delete it every single day. Like you have guys when they're talking about.
Yep. Rocks. Flip flops.
Oh, hey, I'm golfing right now. I don't care about you golfing. Like, hey, look who I'm. Like, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to see that all day, every day with these kids.
Neal, I'll add you to the group, okay? I'll add you right now.
Oh boy. Good luck, Neal. You'll need it. Good luck.
Saying, you know what, Joique? As head of HR, that's why I have to monitor the content.
That is true.
That's
that is
right.
True.
You will. They know. They act fine. But yeah, I hit the alert. I don't mind it, but I'll go to it and there'll be 100 and whatever threads.
Yep.
Oh man.
It get to a point where I'm tired of seeing it. I'm just tired of seeing it.
If you're like,
and that's D-Mac. That's the light day. That's the light day. Seeing 113 messages after 1 hour, it's like a light day.
Neal, I'll add you to it right now.
No, please don't. What I mean, guys. What is the text thread?
And by the way,
That's an evil creation.
76% of the, even higher than that, 90% of the messages aren't even text. They're just like the post.
Up.
Yep, he liked it.
Now the thumbs up and the heart, like those types, those are a double-edged sword because while they are annoying, when you're texting back and forth with someone, it's a great escape hatch.
Oh yeah.
Like you can cut off a conversation without having to respond. You hit the heart, and then everyone. Yeah. You don't say it.
You don't say
it. But you know that that's a wrap.
Wait. But guys, in respect, because you use it too. So it's the unwritten cultural rule of whatever. I'm done with the conversation.
But you don't do that in a group chat with 30 people in there. You don't do that.
Joique almost agreed on him right there.
Listen, when you have 30 plus people. Listen, when you have 30 plus people in the group chat, you do not go and like
that's
a
what we
person
do.
comment. You don't do that. You know, it's wasted.
You did the right thing.
That's not me to do that.
You know what, man? Delete and be free.
Delete and be free.
Delete and be free.
No, but I do. That's Joique, if you and I are ever texting about something or something like that, like say we're setting about where we're going to go play golf, and you make a point, and I hit you with that thumbs up or that heart, it's a wrap. We're done.
I know it is.
And you know.
I know that. And sometimes those texts, those conversations are like outside and you're playing catch with your friend. Who's going to be the first one to say, all right, that's enough? Who's going to be the first one?
Right.
Who's going to be the first one to say, all right,
there comes a point where we're both begging for it to be over.
We want somebody to come and say, the food is ready. All right, come on, let's go. Food's ready. You know, you need something.
Yeah. No, and I know, and I agree. I was really skeptical about bringing that out to light in public because I never hear anybody talking about that, and I thought that was my creation. That I use that as an escape hatch. That's how I know I'm done. So I'm just glad to see that everybody else does it too. But I want to bring a lot of light to it because I don't want it commonplace because I don't want to have to think of a new way to get out.
No.
All right,
but speaking of getting out, we got to get out of here. Thanks for tapping into Big D Energy, Joique Bell, Neal Ruhl, D-Mac. And you know what? We the gang.
Well, see you later.